Spartan Rage has always been a key ability in the God of War series, and guess what? Ragnarok is no different, because this time we have 3 different Spartan Rage to choose from: Fury, Valor, and Wrath. So, what's the purpose of this video? I'm going to show you how to take advantage of every single one of those Spartan Rage and how to use them both offensively and defensively. As always, don't forget to drop a like, to subscribe so that we can get to more people, and let's dive into it. So, as I was saying, we have 3 different Spartan Rage to choose from, and they're going to be gradually unlocked as you progress in the story. You first start with Fury, which is the conventional one. You just pop it and you're able to throw things at people, you're able to chase them down, to punch them, the conventional one. And then you have Valor, which is going to provide some healings whenever it's actually activated. And lastly, we have Wrath, which I think is unlocked once you get to Helheim, I think, if memory serves me right. So then you have Wrath, which is just you chasing after enemies and using the weapon you have equipped to perform a special attack. They're all Spartan Rage, they're all going to stagger enemies upon activation, which is actually the highlight of this tool, because Spartan Rage is first of all a defensive tool. You know how sometimes you might get caught missing a parry, missing those yellow rings parries? Well, rest assured that whenever that's the case, especially when fighting Gna or fighting King Kraki, whenever you miss a parry, it's not the end of the world, as long as you have some rage, because whenever you are open, enemies are going to follow up. But guess what? If you still have some rage, and actually there's one tip I said before, which is actually also applies here. Whenever you interact with mystical gateways, they're going to replenish your health and your rage. So every single time you have to go to a significant boss fight, or like just a fight in general, I strongly advise replenishing your rage, because, well, if you have more rage, then you can get out of those tricky situations I was mentioning before. So again, every time you want to get into a boss fight, don't forget to first interact with the mystical gateway and then get into the fight. So let's say you missed a parry and now you opened up for a follow-up attack. Guess what? You just pop your rage, going to stagger the enemy, and it can even interrupt enemies when they are doing something like, let's say Gna is performing like 3 or 4 for Asgard in a row. After the very first one, you can pop your rage and boom, she's going to stop. And let's say King Kraki is doing what he does best, which is hiding in the sky and running away. Well, you can just get close to him, pop your rage, and he's going to be interrupted. And just keep in mind that enemies will always respect your rage. Every time you pop it, they're going to be staggered, and there's just that one guy. Everybody's going to respect your rage, but that one guy, fuck that guy. So now we will focus on each Spartan Rage and how to take advantage of them, starting with Fury. There's something you need to also keep in mind, is that for every single Spartan Rage there is an enchantment which is going to increase their effectiveness. They're called boons in this game. You have the boon of Valor, the boon of Wrath, and the boon of Fury. Each one of them increasing how that Spartan Rage is going to work. And when it comes to Fury, it's going to allow us to get even more value, to be able to hit more people, and it's going to make that rage bar decrease slower, which is great, because the way I like to use Fury is to pop it whenever I feel like I'm going to get hit. Like I said, after I miss a parry or if I want to interrupt enemies. But you don't want to just keep hitting people with your rage, because Fury doesn't deal a lot of damage. Even if you want to throw rocks, you want to slam the ground, it doesn't deal a lot of damage. So the way you want to use it, you just pop it, hit the enemy once to stagger them, and then come out of rage, right? You don't want to just keep using rage, because if you decrease it entirely, then you'll be exposed the next time you get opened up because you missed a parry. So again, you pop the rage using R3 and R3, right? You pop it, you hit it in the enemy once, and then you deactivate it. That way you didn't consume too much of the bar. Oh, and before I forget, there's also one massive, super massive benefit you get from using a Spartan Rage. It is the ability to cleanse Kratos from any status effect at any given moment. And this is so relevant, so important, because we know how King Kraki or Gna, especially King Kraki, can inflict Bifrost, and it's going to consume your entire health bar, and the next hit can kill you instantly. That thing is dangerous. But guess what? If you actually have your entire health bar afflicted by Bifrost and you pop your rage, it goes away like this. Just like this, it's gone. How about that? There's also one thing I really like about Fury is the fact that you can still dodge and roll whenever you activate it. You actually have control over the way Kratos is going to behave. Something you don't have when it comes to Wrath, because you just charge at the enemy and you can't do anything about it. And there's also one thing I don't like is the fact that when you try to deactivate it, sometimes it won't register, and you might assume you are coming out of rage and he's still going to remain in rage. But overall, it is a very good get out of jail card you can use all the time. Okay, we are done with Fury. Now let's talk about Wrath, which is my personal favorite Spartan Rage. Like I said before, the way it works is every time you activate it, you're going to charge forward at the enemy, and depending on the weapon you have equipped, he's going to perform a special attack. Let's say you have the blaze, he's going to perform some quick stabs. That's how I do it, that's how I perform those quick stabs. And if you have the blade, the axe or the spear, the attack is going to be different. The good thing is he charges as the enemy, and I also noticed that while you are in Wrath, the damage you receive is actually decreased. So let's say you know that you're going to get hit either way, you can pop your Wrath and just chase after the enemy. The damage is going to be, sometimes I also notice that sometimes you won't take damage at all. I don't know how it works, it's just weird, but just keep in mind that the damage you receive is going to be decreased. Right. So I also noticed that Wrath scales with strength. So the more strength you have, the more damage you're going to deal whenever you actually pop your Wrath, which is also good because remember, you have the Talisman of May, and whenever you use a talisman, you get a gift of strength for 10 seconds. And guess what? If you pop the talisman, the relic, and then go into Wrath, you're going to deal a lot of damage. Sometimes you can take, I'll say, 3/4 of a boss health bar just like that, just by popping the relic and using Wrath. So it's actually a great tool, and maybe you want to just get a quick kill, you just want to kill an enemy faster, just pop your rage, just pop your relic, pop Wrath, and boom, there you go. You can also use it in combos. Maybe you just using, just hitting people, and then you pop your rage, just you come out of it, and then just continue hitting. It is a very good combo extender, and you actually use it to your advantage. And the same thing which applied to Fury also applied to Wrath. It's good to interrupt enemies and to stagger them. So whenever you miss a parry, just guess what? Pop their Wrath and you're good to go. And when it comes to the Boon of Wrath, the way it works is basically when enemies are afflicted by a status effect, whenever you pop your rage, it's going to consume that status effect and create an explosion damaging the enemy. I don't like personally using it because I feel like it's a waste of space, mostly because, well, unless you have enemies affected by, I'll say 2 or 3 status effects at the same time, you won't get much value out of it. So you might as well just go in there and use another enchantment, which is what I do. I almost never use Boon of Wrath because I don't see the value, and yeah, well, it's not as good as the other ones. And lastly, we have Valor, which is basically going to give you some health whenever you activate it, but also it can stagger enemies. And I think the best way to use Valor is by also using Boon of Valor, which is going to decrease how much you can heal whenever you use your Valor, but also is going to give you lifesteal and give you a gift of strength for, I think, 7 seconds or 6 seconds. And basically, while the boon is active, you can deal more damage, and whenever you hit people, you get some health back. So I think if you struggle a lot when you get hit a lot, you might want to use Boon of Valor. That way you can benefit from the buffing strength, and also you can heal more whenever you hit enemies. And guess what? It also applies to your rank attacks. Let's say, for example, you're using the Breath of Thammer, which actually has multi-hits, and it can last for like 10 seconds. What you can do is pop your Valor, which is also used with Boon of Valor because, well, you want to increase its efficiency. Well, you pop your Valor and then you pop your Breath of Thammer. That way you guarantee, especially if you have multiple enemies surrounding you, that way you can guarantee that you're going to get even more health back. That's how you want to use Valor. But Personally, I don't use it much because I almost never get hit, and when I do get hit, because I don't have a lot of vitality, I just die. Right? I just die. And the only way I can use it is just benefiting from the buff in strength. Especially when using the Berserker set or any other very damaging build. You want to ensure that you have all the strength you can get, including having Boon of Valor. And I think that's it for the video. I think I covered every single aspect of, you're never too sure. I think I covered every single aspect of Spartan Rage in this game, and I think it's going to be especially useful when it comes to Gna or fighting King Kragi, because those guys sometimes have performed those attacks and then they open you up whenever you miss a parry. And knowing that you can always have that get out of jail card ready to go, provided you actually have some rage, is a good thing. It is a very, very good thing. And I forgot to mention that, you know, those moments where they get super armor when you deal too much damage to them, well, your rage doesn't care. As long as you have rage, you can even hit them while the white shield is up. So again, it is a gift which just keeps on giving, and I hope you take advantage of it now. I'm Jason, and I'll see you soon. Don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll see you around. Bye bye.